Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the only podcast produced by three winners of IMSA's Spirit of the Race Award. Nick, Andrew, and Tristan are here from Check Engine Podcast. We are not pros, but we are in a room full of them right now.
Where?
We are ecstatic to be in the team transporter for Heinricher Racing with Meyer Shank. And sitting across the table from us, we have the one and only Catherine Legg and the one and only Jackie Heinricher here to answer a few questions. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of your busy schedule to chat with us today.
No, we're not that busy, really. No, we're kidding. Thanks for having us on.
No problem.
Yeah.
Andrew, you want to?
Pleasure.
Glad to be here.
So we have short amount of time, so we're just gonna jump right into this
Can
here.
I ask you a question?
Sure.
Yes.
How do you win a Spirit of the Race Award?
We were at Watkins Glen in
The deluge of 2015.
yeah, and
Oh, wow, yeah.
all the fans won, so
We
we survived.
we were tent camping out by the bus stop.
So you're a little bit deranged.
We stepped
He
out.
certainly thinks so.
We stepped out of our tent into ankle deep water.
Yeah, nice.
John Heindoff said there's no need to vote on Twitter because all the fans win the Spirit of the Race Award. So hey, we're claiming it. We won it.
Absolutely.
Especially anybody who's camping who's still here, is what he said.
That's
So,
exactly. And that was us.
I hope you were also drinking a lot to get you through that weekend.
Well, I
Plenty.
Good.
Yeah, that's
Plenty.
enough.
Was it ankle deep water or was it
Beer.
ankle? Wow, you did survive. I'm proud of you
Yeah.
guys.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So that's why we claim that title.
Great.
And as
Enough
far as
about
we know,
us,
there's
yeah.
no one else doing a podcast who was at that weekend.
Right.
We haven't been notified. So
Yeah. Until we know different, we'll keep saying it.
that's right.
Perfect.
We're gonna
Enough
just-
about us. We're not even that interesting. Let's just start with qualifying. Fresh off that, how do you feel? How do you feel about the race coming up with the pole sitter and with
extra motivation for who's on
Yeah,
pole.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot about that. So, BIA qualified the car. As you know, this year, we have slightly different rules in that the silver has to qualify and race. And so she did an awesome job, having never been here before. You know, having driven the NSX relatively small amount of time comparatively to me and Trent and Mario, etc., etc.
Sure.
And she went out there and she did a really, really good job. It was cut short by the impeding weather.
Oh,
You
weird.
would know a lot about that.
Yeah, we had to
Experience with
batten
one.
down the hatches in camp for
Yeah.
a drizzle. But
Yeah, exactly.
We're getting very urgent messages from John saying, everybody clear off.
I think there was lightning or something.
Yeah.
so
Or it was time for lunch, one or the other. Anyway, she did a great job, and we are in the middle of the pack. We are in the middle of the pack because of BOP, unfortunately. You know, both cars were struggling this weekend. We've been given more weight than we've ever had before. But that's a good thing because that means that we're doing well.
that means you're scaring some people,
That's
right?
what's scaring some people. So, people play BOP, and we really don't. So, you know what? We will we'll come back stronger, and we'll have a good race, and we'll show them that continuity and consistency and smarts wins, right?
I was just going to kind of ask. So with the bite from the BOP monster in the past couple weeks, and where you're starting, is it strategy going to get you to the front on this one? How do you win from 8th?
This track is it's my favorite track, but so much can happen at this track. I think we stay consistent. I think Catherine's our weapon at the end of the race, and I think I've never been in a car race where I could ever predict what was going to happen, and it's never over until that flag drops. So,
Yeah, good point. I think Jackie's absolutely right. I think we will wait and see what happens. We have the best team and crew behind us that we could hope for. So I think in the pits we will probably make up positions. Strategy-wise, Jackie's there on the box, Mike's there on the box. We've got everybody that we need making the calls about what we do when we pit, how we jump people. We haven't got the ultimate speed because of the BOP, as we discussed, but we have a fantastic car, and we have a fantastic team, and we have fantastic drivers. So as long as we can keep knocking out the laps, then hopefully others will make mistakes, and it will come our way. I would love to tell you that I think we're going to win this race. I think there is a chance, yes, but I think more likely is that we will just be smart and try and finish as high up as we can.
Perfect.
Yesterday at the fan forum, Catherine, you mentioned during this team formation process the difficulty of finding good female drivers. And I was just wondering if the two of you could kind of talk a little bit more about that search and whether the difficulty was in supply or whether it was your obvious competitive drive to find the very best drivers.
You want me to start, and then you can finish. So Jackie and I, it's like Jackie's the boss, right? She's the brainchild of all of this. It's her idea. She found Caterpillar as a partner. She made all of this happen.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in racing since I was knee-high to a grasshopper and pretty much know every other driver that's out there. And so we sat down, and it was bizarre because I said I would only do it if we do it with the best female drivers out there. And she was like, oh, all right, so you want Simona and Bia then? I'm like, yeah, that's good, right.
That's it. That was a short meeting.
Pretty much.
Well, I think, but to your point, since then, finding people to step in, there are so few women at this level that, thank goodness Christina was able to step in. We are actually testing a woman out of England, Alice Powell, who's coming in for a race.
Okay.
But honestly,
Heard it here first, folks.
just at the level that Catherine, Bia, and Simona are at, they're it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
I mean, we looked high and low, and there are some really good. Hey, Bia, come on in.
A little bit of everything.
We were just talking about you.
I heard you're doing podcasts, and Sarah was like, am I late?
You're Brazilian. You're always late.
Yeah.
You're just fine. We're just happy to have you here.
So,
You want me to do that?
I was just saying that it's really hard to find really strong female talent. There's a lot of really good female drivers that are coming. Yeah, we have you already signed.
we've already signed you as the top driver in the world.
And so we basically went through all the female drivers that we could find, and we looked at their lap times compared to their teammates, compared to what series they've run. We took into account what car they're in, because I know more than most, driving an average or worse car does not give you the best results, but it doesn't make you a bad driver. Some of the best drivers start their careers driving not very great cars.
You have to start somewhere.
You have to start somewhere. So we looked at everybody, and it's been a process, and we had to find somebody to fill in for VIR because Bia couldn't make it, Christina couldn't make it. So after evaluating everybody, there was really only 3 others that we would have considered. There are a lot more coming up through right now, and hopefully they will be at the level where Bia, Christina, and Jackie, we can hand over the baton to them as they get to that level. But it's taken us this long to encourage female talent up through the ranks of go-karting and the younger and the lower formula. When I was doing it, it was me and Danica, and then after that came Simona and Bia, and that's literally at that level. That was it. There wasn't anybody else.
There's nobody really.
Mm-mm.
Bia, you're coaching a young woman in karting in Brazil.
I decided to be a mentor for a young lady called Antonella Bassani. She's 13.
Okay.
She's really fast, so I'm trying to do some mentoring.
She just got
helping
on the
her.
podium.
Yeah, another podium, Brazilian go-karting. So I think we're doing
Yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations.
So,
Congratulations to that.
so in 10 years' time, Bia will be able to retire.
and she will be in a good
She'll be
age.
good. Yeah, exactly.
On that topic, is there anything that the 3 of you can kind of say about juxtaposing this team composition against something like the W series? Is there a difference? I mean, obviously, super complex question, but
Right, I think it's so dissimilar because we are putting the best drivers that we can find in the world together to showcase female talent, right? The W Series is showcasing female talent in another way,
Mhm.
but they're doing it by segregation. We're really not. We're doing it against all the guys. We just happen to be female. So there's a
Right.
fine line that we walk that is like, hey, look at us. We're doing something cool, but by the way, we're not any different. Don't look at us. So it's not that we're contradicting ourselves. It's that we're walking that tightrope where the car doesn't know the difference, the team don't treat us any different, but we just happen to be signaling to maybe other young females who are in racing and everything else that you can be whatever you want to be, and here is why, because we're racing with the best of them and we're one of the cars to contend with every weekend. So I think that the message that we give is we've been doing this a long time and we're all very well respected in our own fields.
Sure.
And I think we get treated the same. Like, nobody treats me any different to Trin or Mario or anybody else. Same with Bea. She's very well respected. You know, Jackie's businesswoman extraordinaire, biochemist, super clever person. We just drove a race car. And so I think the message is, you know, you can do it, and we're showcasing it rather than trying to help young and upcoming talent go through. And I've kind of got mixed feelings about the W Series, and to be honest, I've been a little bit pleasantly surprised about how it's gone. I thought it was going to be a shit show. It's not.
You can say that, by the way. It's online.
Yeah.
So we're still
Okay.
the
It's not
exclusive tag, and we're good.
No, but I thought segregation's the wrong way to go, right? I thought what we're doing is the right way to go. But, you know, there are some good points about it as well. And honestly, we went fishing in the W Series pool to get our talent from. So, long story short, I think everybody's doing it for the right reasons, and all the different ways of doing it has merit. But obviously ours is the best.
Where are you going?
I got to go, apparently. I got a
Yes,
thing.
Your earring's falling off.
Yeah, it's true.
Thank you.
Are you leaving now or are you going?
I don't know. He just came and got me and said I got
Well,
a
he
thing.
should. A thing? Or we
Well,
have
Catherine,
we-
thank you.
I got a meeting or something.
Thank you so much for your
Thank you for
time.
being here.
Yeah,
We
we
appreciate
have a
it.
meeting.
I know. I will find out what it is on my plan.
Catherine Legg, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry.
Thank
There she
you.
goes. She's on her way out. As we kind of transition in here,
That's why she spoke like 2 minutes. You know, she would leave, so she really long answer. Okay.
She just told Elaine to do
Yeah,
that.
okay,
She's-
as we kind of transition here, I want to pitch a question to Jackie. I peeked in when you were on the Torque Show yesterday to your segment there, and you were talking about finding a partner. You landed with Caterpillar to fit your vision. I'm curious to know how those discussions went. Were you reaching out to different people? Did they hear about what you were doing and say, "Hey, we're interested. Let's talk"? Like, how do you get a company to fit that vision?
You're back?
False alarm?
No, I've got to go. I was just gonna.
Like, okay.
Well, hang on.
Don't worry
Let's
about
do another
that.
question.
Hold that
We'll
thought.
pocket that. We've got a
Get
couple
the
questions
next
for Bea,
question
so.
for Bea.
we
yes.
have a questions for Bea.
We've got a lot of
Tristan, you want to
questions
take
for
a question for?
Yeah, we kind of talked, I think, just before you got into Catherine about the testing and talent finding process for this team. And we kind of wanted to talk about, what was your experience in that coming from South American racing in general? Because here you hear a lot about European racing, obviously a lot of American racing here, but you don't often hear, anything much about South American racing. So we're wondering kind of what your trip up through that structure looked like, and then,
Okay, no,
from
got
there.
it.
So.
Well, I started karting when I was 8 years old. I was fanatic about speed racing. Really crazy kid. And my parents realized it, especially my dad. It took me to a go-kart track in São Paulo, Interlagos, and I was crazy about it.
Sure.
And I kept bugging him until he finally got me to the karting school, and I was lucky enough to get good results. Really special people partnering with me as a team and teaching me to get to high levels. I went to open wheel in Brazil as well, so I was first female to win Formula Renault worldwide. Had many opponents, fought for the championship, finished third in 2005.
Congrats.
Yeah, we then, after I did South American Formula 3, got I think 6 podiums, 4 second places. Really bittersweet, A pole position, and we finished 5th. Then my first year. Then I my managers back in the days were Andrea Ribeiro and Cesario. These guys really helped me funding, to get the sponsors for me to move up, as my parents didn't really have enough, resources to do it. And I did some testing in England and in America. I could definitely feel the difference. How open-minded Americans are and narrow-minded British are. Sorry if there's any
That's
British
interesting.
people here.
I
Sorry.
think she just left.
Yeah. She would agree. She would agree. Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, she came up
Yeah.
there,
Of course.
So she would know
Yeah.
as well.
So I did some really good tests in both countries, but the American team say you gotta drive for us. It's gonna be amazing. They found half of the sponsorship, and so I did Indy Lights in 2008, and I fought for the championship in my first year. Won my first race. Was the first female to win an Indy Lights series worldwide. I got the Racing Star Award. For being like surprising in the series, and I think those results helped me to get to another level and get to IndyCar. That was my dream, right? Coming from a South American country, and you guys don't hear much about South American racing, but Brazilians hear a lot of American racing.
Sure.
Yeah. So you got many. It always started with Emerson Fittipaldi when he came from Formula One, did IndyCar, and then you have like those mega drivers like Elio, Tony Kanaan, Damada. Well, it's definitely many Brazilian drivers had a successful career here in America. Even my manager back in the days, André Ribeiro, and that definitely helped us too.
He did some seat time as well.
Yeah.
I remember that name.
Yeah. So Brazil, like usually you have a way to go either Formula One or IndyCar, and then you have a sports car. That's really many possibilities. It's cool.
Excellent.
Yeah. This is my car in Brazil.
Oh,
stock
okay.
car in Brazil.
Awesome. Right there.
Yeah, that was a question we heard. We heard her at the fan forum, Brazilian stock car racing, and Catherine mentioned that's where you had come from. And I went, Brazilian stock car racing? I don't know anything about that. So I was interested to see the cars, and Nick had a
much harder
flavor
than,
of it, but
than what we do here.
Yeah,
sure. So
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
tough.
touch on what's the racing scene like in South America? Like, we don't know that much about it. What is that schedule? What's that car like? What can you compare it to anything that we may know, or?
Well, we would say it's our Brazilian NASCAR, but we only race on road courses.
Okay.
I think we're more technological than NASCAR, I believe. So I would say we are more towards Australia V8s,
Sure.
DTM. So it's a car. It's kind of close. It's comparable to the NXS in weight, power. So this is the same weight and around 450 horsepower, 500 horsepower. But it's here you have more manufacturers and more development in the car. In Brazil, it's more about the show. So the cars are the same for everybody.
Okay.
It's just detail. So we have 32 cars in the field, and
Wow.
then we are all in 1 second.
So
So it's like
it's a tight competition.
it's really tough
Much harder
competition.
than here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Rubens races it with you,
Yeah.
right? Baron Cohen.
Yeah. By the way, I beat him.
Way to
last
name
two
drop.
races,
Wow.
and it was cool.
Way to name drop Rubens Barrichello.
Yeah.
Beat him.
It's not a big knife.
Yeah,
Not a big deal.
Me and Rubens.
Yeah, Ricardo Zonta that raced here. He's raced in stock car in Brazil. Yeah, usually it's the drivers that worldwide come and kind of end up.
We've
in
got to
Korea.
find recordings of this somewhere to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's
If
awesome.
you,
We
you
got
go
a
to my
YouTube or
YouTube
something.
channel, you'll see more. A lot.
Perfect.
There
We'll
we
head
go.
there
Yeah.
as soon as we leave Road America because
Okay.
we can't stream here.
Anything.
If we could go back to the caterpillar question, Jackie.
Yeah, Jackie
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
Jackie is
yeah.
back.
we-
I'm curious too. I'm curious about the
Yeah,
question.
how about
Yeah,
the
so-
whole roadmap on how to get a sponsor?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell.
But just
Come on.
to,
I worked really hard for that.
Oh yeah.
I imagine you did, but I was just curious in that process because I think it's not anymore just like, hey, come put your sticker on our car and you'll get this exposure. It's got to be business alignment and vision, and you have to sell them on something besides, hey, our car's on TV.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just did Kat approach you? Did you go to them? Like, how did that process?
I actually was doing some other business and had a chance to meet with them and went back and pitched my vision for the race team, and it just their values align with my values and their global values. Diversity is a key ingredient to better serving our employees and our clients, right? So, but also that we were there to win. We weren't there because it was a bunch of girls getting together and So, I think I think the timing and the values aligning was really important. I did not sell them on any false ROI at IMSA because there's no real...
We know that's
it's not really a thing.
But, they kind of like the idea of being a big fish in a small pond. And they love the idea of our team and who we are and what we represent. And I think for them it was a really important... I think also you're looking at NASCAR and you're seeing a lot of big sponsors bailing out of NASCAR.
Exactly.
Segueing into other sports. I mean, LPGA, Chinese basketball leagues. I mean, there's so much in sports that's kind of blooming globally that used to be isolated to the U.S. So
you almost hear like you have to have the CEO of the company who is just a race fan, really, and then if that person leaves, now new person comes in, business strategy change, and those race teams are kind of left out of luck. So it's incredible that you're able to find somebody like that.
And Caterpillar, they've stayed with Childress in NASCAR for 26 years, so they don't run away.
Right.
I think that's a really important ingredient. One of the problems in racing, a huge problem for all athletes in racing, is not only are there no sponsors, but those sponsors don't usually have a big budget and they're flighty. So you might come in for 3 races and all of a sudden your sponsor disappears, right? Or doesn't show up with the right check at the race and you're left walking away from her. I mean, there's so many horror stories on... I mean, I would never have even... And by the way, this took a long time. I was talking with Bia. Bia and I were communicating years before this came together.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, these things take humongous amounts of time.
Right.
And
I'm sure it wasn't obviously an overnight or...
No, and you're not going to waste... Every one of us on our team have worked our tails off professionally to get to where we are.
Absolutely.
And none of us want to waste each other's time. We don't have time for that. So unless it's a legitimate thing, there would be zero reason to even have a discussion. So we knew all along this was going to have to be something significant to involve the people.
And what I told to Jackie, so she can be proud, if you look at even into the series, the brands that are involved, when she gets Caterpillar, it's like, oh my god, it's a really big deal. And I know how hard she worked because we've been talking for so long, and some place like, oh my, I don't believe that's gonna happen. Suddenly she calls me, yeah, it's gonna happen. So, holy shit.
That I want to hear. What was that like when you got that call and hey?
Well, first I got
green light.
a call from Catherine. It was last year.
Yeah. She was like, why is Catherine
she
late?
even mentioned about Jackie, so I couldn't really connect the situation. But it was surprising because Catherine and I were kind of fighting together in IndyCar, so we didn't really talk much.
Uh-huh.
And so suddenly she called me and said, what's the deal? And she mentioned about the team and about Simona, Christina, and then it clicked me like, oh my god, this is really a cute, cool deal because they are really good drivers and being all together in the same team, this could be a lot of fun. And so we kept talking, and then finally, I think October, I said, yeah, it's gonna happen, and amazing. Yeah, here I am.
I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think everybody were convinced I was a fry short of a Happy Meal. Yeah, you're gonna do this. Yeah, right, you are. Yeah. Okay, Jackie, have a nice life. But, I mean, literally, it wasn't just me. It was all of us combined on a team. That's what...
Yeah.
If I went in and said, hey, I'm going to, go hang out with Myers and Crazy, it wouldn't matter. It just wouldn't matter. So, the role that they played in the process of doing that is by allowing me to have them as part of the team that I'm pitching. And not everybody will do that because they're afraid it'll get out or it won't work or it'll fail. And all of these drivers trusted me to go and take a look at this and see if I could get it done. So, yeah, it was a really good experience.
Well, I think speaking to your vision for getting that sponsor, I mean, all three of us, when we were writing this interview, were saying, Caterpillar, we didn't seem from the outside that would be the corporate entity to sponsor an all-female race team with the vision of truly doing something new, competition, with all women.
I
So
mean,
it was
to be
just-
clear, I thought it'd be tampons or something. I mean, instead we got the biggest tractor company in the world. What the heck? I don't know.
from the outside, I was like, oh, this is awesome. They finally, Caterpillar.
Yeah, it's just, we know that they have that relationship in NASCAR. So you think of like their line of business, big heavy equipment. That aligns with the big heavy equipment in NASCAR, and the user base of these big machines, probably NASCAR fans. And it was like, it's going to be a sports car team sponsor for an all-women sports car team sponsor, and that was surprising to us.
But more and more, they have women doing amazing stuff at Caterpillar, including driving the big, giant 797 mining trucks, the things you have to climb up ladders.
Yeah.
And my cousin actually.
What kind of lap time do you think you could get in that thing here, Via?
We should try.
That would be great.
YouTube,
I don't think
Oh,
you make
my
it past the bridges.
Oh, that's true.
You just knock them down and
Good
make
point,
new ones. You got
good
heavy.
You're so smart. That's why we have you here. We didn't think of that.
I'm always looking out ahead.
Way
you
in
see?
the future.
So I think just from hearing, we did talk to your dad, Jackie, and he told us that you are so driven, so focused. Bia obviously have the same thing. And coming to the point you're at now, in racing, was there ever a moment where you felt deflected into other, Bia, whether it was, maybe you shouldn't be a driver, maybe, something else in racing, or Jackie, maybe you don't need to helm a team, maybe it should be something else. Was there ever that moment when you were coming up?
There are moments that you question, especially like not having great results. We were always there to win, and even like in stock car, I come from open wheel IndyCar, get to the series that guys been there for 10, 12 years had, this small connection with the car and are able to get small tens from the car. And so, oh my God, maybe this car is not for me. I never really questioned myself. And they always have, like, something happen that made me confident again. I would do a test somewhere and be really quick and gets me win a race in go-kart. When I did my first test for Jackie, I was really surprised. I loved the car right away and went really fast.
She was really fast immediately.
Yeah, and then
It feels good.
It was great.
Whereas I went off and busted my
we were
rear.
on the what's
I
the name?
crashed.
What's the name of January practice?
Yeah, you were on pole.
Roar on the world. Yeah. So that so things that when I question myself, I always remember those things. No, don't worry, you're fine.
Right.
By the way, my dad didn't even recognize me an hour ago, so I'm glad he put in a good word.
Thank you, Mr. Heinricher.
But for me, I said it at the Torque Show yesterday, perseverance is probably the most underrated human quality. You just gotta believe.
Yes.
Man, so many neat things are possible, but you gotta see them, believe them, and stick with it to get them. People give up too easily, right? And like Bia, I have to remind myself constantly about the good things I'm doing in my life, or the positives, or I drove better that day, or my business didn't do too bad yesterday, as opposed to focusing in on the things that deflect you from being successful.
Yes.
So then what's next? What, other than the
We're
race?
getting married.
Oh, yes!
I need to get divorced.
I was going to say,
No, I'm kidding.
other than the race, what's next for the team? Is there class jump, or what can we see next?
I mean, we don't. We're not ready to announce 2020 plans, but effectively, we're in a whole lot of meetings this weekend, and
Okay.
Maybe that's why Catherine.
she is, and I'm right behind her, and then she and I have another meeting, and all of us are meeting tonight. So it's just and we are there. There are lots of things. We were snubbed at Le Mans this year.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
Shame on them.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're in your corner. Shame on them.
Absolutely.
That was a frustrating thing for all of us. They break a lot of hearts, so it's not just us. So.
Yeah.
But we've looked at other platforms, especially with the drivers we have and IndyCar and those kinds of things. So, you never know what we'll announce this year at the end.
IndyCar, oh my God, it's good to know, huh?
I
It is good to know.
What's happening here?
This is how how rumors get started.
Those guys are going straight to IndyCar. Okay, maybe the 500. I don't know.
Sweet.
Ooh, okay.
Sweet.
Okay.
Well, you're obviously very busy. I mean, I don't know if are they going to come in and pull you out, or do you want to just wrap up? I mean, it's
You guys have a few more questions, or
a couple of quick ones, maybe, but
maybe you can focus on Jackie, and I end up with something that I can help. Yeah.
Sure.
You need to go, or you're fine.
I'm going shortly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they did mention 2:30 before. And,
Yeah,
we mentioned 2:30, and that's where we're at. So I'm just making sure.
It's it's a racetrack. Time is a fluid element.
Since you're the boss, and we don't know when you're leaving.
Well, why not, if you got a few more questions,
Here's one just to get out of the way. Is there an Ice Cube's chance in hell that the Check Engine podcast could take a ride with you on race day tomorrow on the car?
Sure.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
All right. We're on
Nice.
there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the boss. You should.
That's why I wanted to ask her before she left. Thank you so much. That'd be fantastic.
And if you win the race, we'll do it. Whole
We
season.
have been told. We have
Oh,
been
you're
told
right.
that knocks 2/10 on average.
Awesome.
Off
That's
class.
good to know.
That's a good authority.
I have
So
a question.
BLP be damned.
How many cars are you on this weekend?
Right now, just you.
Just you.
Okay, that's good.
If you let us.
Alright, okay.
Is it ever? Mostly Murillo Racing.
Murillo let us have a ride at Mid Ohio last year in the Michelin Cup,
Yeah.
Michelin Pilot Challenge, but that was it.
Wow.
We asked Core Autosport, and they weren't too keen on it. They kind of shoot us away.
Yeah.
So
They did.
With actual this, I think they actually
There was a little
they're like,
made
yeah, I don't know.
Well, the reality is that
You could have said no, by the way. It's not just because we were on air.
When you have partners and they're providing everything, they don't like to dirty. They don't like competition on
Exactly.
the car.
Of course.
Well, I'm not saying you have to cover the Caterpillar logo.
Yeah.
It can be at a nondescript place, but
We'll put it underneath.
there you go. That's perfect.
We're
That's
having
inside the rear wing,
Yeah.
that little
Yeah, perfect.
I think the
You
next
can't cover
yeah.
out there.
Oh,
Can't
yeah,
cover out
no,
there.
no. But inside, there's Acura on the inside.
inside
Just
the
put
way.
on my helmet like this.
Yeah.
Works fine.
Anyway, wherever you see fit,
Yeah.
we're not picky. Thank you in advance.
B and I'll figure it
We'll
out.
figure it out.
Bia, this is your first trip to Road America. What was your impression, like first few practice laps of what this track was like?
It was fun. I did simulator and always heard about Road America, so even looking forward to getting the experience. And it was really fun. First practice wasn't easy because of the car balance, but then you're just getting more confident on this high-speed corners, more confident. Qualifying was
Sure.
mega. It was really cool. Yeah.
It's one of the neatest race courses in this country.
Yeah.
It's my favorite. It's
Yeah.
got a real flow to it. You're right, though. You can overdrive it if you.
It seems
But look
like
at how fast she is. She's never been to this track. Look at what she did today.
Yeah.
It
speaks to her talent level. Speaks why she's in this seat.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, I wish I was the year before, just get those
But-
moments off.
Yeah, we love to hear that stuff about Road America because we're from an hour away, so this is our home track. We love this place. We speak about it and brag about it. So to hear it coming from
Oh yeah,
Paul's
I've
about how
raced
amazing
it.
it is, it's
Sun, rain, everything. I love this place. It's a fantastic track. And the kink takes a second to get your head around.
I was
Yeah,
asking
it's-
Catherine about the kink. Say, don't ask me the right line because I crashed here really bad.
Have you seen
So
the
figure
track?
out.
Have you seen
I
it?
don't remember really. I saw it like back in the days.
I was here for that actually. We were actually back on
Oh,
the
yeah.
outside of the kink and we saw it happen. My dad and I. It was nasty. We didn't want to ask her about it. We thought, well, we'll skip over that. I'm sure she doesn't want to relive that over and over and over
Better.
again.
Race some more. Maybe after the race. we'll
Right,
share.
Can I ask a question about the track, like a race driver question? Something that we've had an internal debate on. There's always this phrase that gets thrown around, like, "Oh, Road America, power track, just total power track." But like Canadian
that
type
being driven
power track, and it's just like
By drivers or by just fans?
both. I've heard it.
Mostly commentators.
Yes, mostly
So it's usually, prior they were drivers and now they're commentators, or they were, SCCA guys. There's some driving experience there, or it's kind of drawn out of drivers by these people. You'll hear drivers say it, but it usually comes at the hands of a commentator, usually.
What is that supposed to mean?
I mean, that's probably like a
It's long straightaways, so
yeah,
it's
long straight, so like front speed.
Yeah,
and,
front
how much
straight
power you
speed.
have.
back straight speed, this is a tough track in the sense of it's a balancing act with downforce and high speed. And it's such a long track, you're dealing with a lot of high speed stuff. But you've got to get in enough downforce to get through the turns, which are also gnarly.
Yeah.
That's usually what we would expect.
Yeah.
Is that most tracks, unless they're an oval or something like that, are a balance, and there's this weird focus on everything being a power track.
Yeah.
We heard power track on everything from VIR to Canadian Tire to Watkins Glen.
Yeah.
So
Like,
here,
oh, well.
is everything a power track? Or
I think I just think the announcers like on a power track.
Yeah.
They like to hear themselves talk.
Yeah.
A little bit too much.
Power track,
It's
yeah.
a commitment between aero and from like straight speed because maybe you have so much straight speed, but you cannot brake well, you cannot coast well, and then you look at calculate, this is not worth it, and it's hard to say, but there's definitely some corners that you need to have the aero here. That's important, maybe more important than have like just a power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, even look at Daytona Turn 1. I mean, you gotta have some.
Yeah,
You gotta have some good planting going through there.
Yep.
That seems like a crazy corner there because you're coming off the banking just full bore, and you've got a trail brake off of banking, so flat, like
You're not
daunting.
you're not necessarily breaking in a straight line either. You're
right.
But you're still.
Yeah.
The fun thing is overtaking there.
Yeah.
You're on the outside.
Yeah.
There is no try the outside. Are you sure? Okay.
All right.
So,
If you
I
say
won't
so.
I won't brake until this guy brake. Okay.
Oh man, he's not braking.
He's not braking ever, right?
What is he gonna break?
It happened, and great. That was my favorite spot.
I mean, I don't think anybody has any idea. It is a trip when you're coming off that turn because the amount of brake effort in there is wild. I mean, it's a cool.
It is.
It's my favorite turn.
It's really cool.
Well, they do
The
say it's
king.
a power track.
Yeah.
You know what they say.
You know what they say about power tracks.
Give them their
Your
time back.
timeline here. I mean, we've got a few
I
more.
think we probably need to wrap up.
Yeah,
I
because
awesome. So
Thanks, guys. Sorry for being late.
not
Yeah,
at all,
the
not at all.
VA
Better late than never.
Racing YouTube channel, so you can meet Stalker. And
Excellent.
Right.
So make sure to tag all of us. Heinricher Racing.
Oh, of course.
So where can our listeners find the team, the drivers? Just
HeinricherRacing.com.
HeinricherRacing.com, and
it's all in the website.
It's
So we
all-
focus on the website, and then
it branches out from there.
All of our gear is at our store at our website.
That beautiful one they have.
All the
Amazing.
bios about the drivers, everything's there.
So if you want to know more, listeners, HeinricherRacing.com. Via Jackie, Catherine, wherever you are. Mr. Schenk, thank you for your hospitality, having us up here. Thank you for your time. We can't say enough about how cool this is for a little podcast like us to get to do this. So best of luck tomorrow. We'll be
Thanks.
cheering hard, and best of luck the rest of the 2019 and moving forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.